In today's video, I look to see whether my business has grown during the month of May or shrunk. Cue the intro. Hi folks, welcome to the channel. For those of you new here, my name's Andrew. I am a part-time eBay and Amazon reseller who's looking to grow both businesses so that I can become a full-time reseller. As part of that business development and growth, what I do each month is actually spend the time to look through the eBay sales reports that it provides us business sellers to see whether or not my business turnover is increasing or decreasing. I also use the report to advise on some of the business decisions that I'm going to make in the next month in terms of sourcing and categories to focus on and my general approach to running the business. I do this fully transparently so that people can see what I'm doing, although I won't show all the products I'm selling because some of them are retail arbitrage products or online arbitrage products that are available in store currently. I don't want people flooding the market with those listings and tanking the price because that would be harmful to my business. But I will look at the figures, show how I interpret them and how I use that to try and help grow my business, and I review it every month to see how I've done and how I've performed. Now each month since I've started doing this, I have seen consistent increases in growth, although last month I saw a dip in sales but an increase in turnover because I was listing higher value items. So that showed that actually if you list more valuable items, even though you list less, you'll actually see an increase in turnover. This month, or the month of May I should say, I was actually ill for about a quarter of the month, so didn't list. So I've actually listed less items than I did the previous month. I think 238 items, new listings that is, were created on eBay. So I am expecting that to have had an impact on turnover, and it may even mean that I've seen a reduction in turnover as a result. But we shall switch to future Andrew, who will bring up the sales report, and we'll take a look and see whether that has had any impact on my business. So I'm going to switch over to future Andrew now. Okay, thank you previous Andrew. Future Andrew here. Right, so I'll show you how to get to the report that I use to analyse my business, just in case you're interested in doing something similar yourself. Here on the seller hub, you can see a variety of tabs at the top here. The one I'm going to go to is performance, and then I'm going to take a look at sales. There are a variety of other reports you can look at as well, but this is the one that's most important for how I'm running my business at the minute. So it will come up with a review your sales. It's got a report here. It will default to, I think, the last 31 days from today's date. I actually want to look at last month because I do it month by month. So I'm just going to click on sales. I'm going to click on last month. It will automatically default to comparing to the previous month. So I'll click then on generate report, and within a matter of seconds, because it's not a long period to look at, it will come up with my report. And it will give me the headline figures here at the top. So I can see during May, I actually saw an increase in sales turnover, which is great. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to see a decrease because I listed less. Sales actually went up 13.8% versus the previous month. So just over £4,500 of sales, which is really good. I'm trying to push towards hitting the 5k mark as my next target. So it's good to see that I'm on the way to achieving that. Selling costs were just under a third of my total sales. That does actually include some postage costs, because I believe that this includes any postage that you buy for Royal Mail through eBay. It doesn't include anything you buy through Packlink, unless I think you buy it directly through the postage page. Now I think it might include that, but so we've still got postage costs on top of that. So what it's saying is that after those selling costs, I had just over £3,000, but if we knock off nearly £1,000 on postage, then actually the profit, not including cost of goods, was around 2k, which I'm happy with. I'd like to push that higher. I reinvest every pound I get from the business back into the business now, into growing it until it reaches the point where it can sustain me. So it's going in the right direction, definitely, which is good to see. The net sales was 20% up. That's net of selling costs as well. So another pleasing figure to see. That means I've made more money ultimately. We also saw an increase in the number of items sold, which went up to 328. I think that was in part driven by auction sales, because they increased 266% to £43.89, and that was down to a change which doesn't seem to have been announced anywhere, but it now seems that I can include my auction listings in my promoted listing standard campaign, which is really helping therefore to promote those auction items and generate more sales. And yeah, I mean, you can see the impact that it had there. 266% increase in sales. This is all stuff that that's gone on a 99p start plus postage. Just stock that I'm looking to clear out. It's stock that cost me literally pennies to buy. So actually each sale is making me a small profit as well, which is great, as well as freeing up space and allowing me to focus on more profitable items. So I'm going to keep on doing that, keep on using the auctions to get rid of stock, hopefully for a profit. Sometimes there might be an item or two that I sell for a loss on auction, just because I need to clear up the space. One thing that's disappointed me is that repeat buyers is still the same as it was last month. What I did do in the month of May was actually send out a 15% coded coupon just for followers of the store and previous buyers, but it doesn't look like anyone actually used that coupon. So repeat buyers is still something that I need to look at trying to get an increase of in the future. I do have some different things I want to try in that space in terms of including business cards in items I post out, etc. But as I'm focusing on moving house at the minute, or trying to sell my house at the minute, I don't really want to change my business processes too much, because it's just an additional thing that I've got to do and focus on at a time when my focus is already split by other things. I want to get into my new place, get that all set up, and then start looking at improving the business by taking action like that. But I thought the coded coupon was something that was worth trying, because that, you know, it's just literally a few clicks. But it looks like that probably didn't actually work out, so I probably won't bother with doing that again in the future. I might experiment at some point actually saying that, but at the minute it's not looking great. Q4 maybe I will try and see what happens. The interesting bit here that I like to look at as well is the sales by category, and I can see I had 1,000% increase in health and beauty, particularly around vitamins and minerals. I found a particularly good item of retail arbitrage in this category that as soon as I listed it was selling. Unfortunately I can't get any more of the product now. It's, you know, I've exhausted all supplies within 50-mile radius at least of home, but that brought in a significant amount of the sales, and I think that really compensated for me having that quarter of the month off ill as well. But health and beauty as a whole, as a category, is something that I've been looking to majorly focus and ramp up on this year. You know, it's a multi-trillion pound industry worldwide, so there's a real opportunity to make money there. So I am working at sourcing more health and beauty products. It's not a category I've really sold in before. I've sold like maybe in my entire 6 years now on eBay, sold a 12 to 15 items prior to this year on it, and now obviously I've sold quite a lot this year, hundreds of items in that category, so including some today actually. So definitely a category that I'm looking to build up on. Books is still going to be my main focus. It does look like from these stats that health and beauty has actually done more than books, and I think that's fair to say, which is surprising. It's actually become my main category. We've got roughly 700 quid there on books. There are several different categories on books. If you add these two together, that's nearly £1,000. And if you chuck in the antiquarian, adult Learning University, that's added another £95. I'm just scrolling down to see if there's anything more. No, there isn't. So just under £1,100 on books, but we've got 940 on health and beauty there, and I think there's 125 on health and beauty there. Oh, they're roughly tied then at the minute. So health and beauty and books, there's another 45 on there. Health and beauty is just overtaken books as my top category, so that is surprising actually. For me, I did list a lot more health and beauty items, so perhaps this month, so perhaps I shouldn't be surprised at that. I'm not getting as many books in at the minute due to a couple of issues that have been worked out around supply stuff, so therefore not listed as many as a result. I have found some new book suppliers now though, so that may well change when I start getting those established, and that may go back to be my top category again. But yeah, really pleased with how health and beauty is going. The investment in that has already paid off, maybe a good profit. Films and TV, that is VHS tapes. Still one of my top categories is selling VHS, but it's not a huge amount of money. It's like 3% of sales was VHS. Didn't list a lot of VHS last month though, so not surprised that's gone down over a third, because pretty much everything that sold was stuff that was already listed. I think I maybe listed 5 or 6 VHS last month, so not much. Clothing has seen an increase. I listed more items of clothing last month, so that's expected. Video games decrease. Only listed a handful of video games again last month, so I'm not worried about that showing a decrease. DVDs has increased. I listed more DVDs last month, therefore it's increased. Home furniture and DIY has increased, and I expect that will increase even further this month because I've listed a few more items in that category towards the end of last month. Made a mistake on the listing. They all were set to collection only for some reason, but spotted that. I've changed it so it's now not collection only, and I've sold a few items as a result. So always worth looking to make sure that the right postage policies have been applied to your listings. For some reason it didn't apply the right ones. We've also seen an increase in collectibles. This is down to just a particular lot of items I picked up. Some cardboard model kits that I got from the house clearance store. Some of those sold last month, and so I've seen 100% increase as a result. And Toys and Games increased again, actually for the same reason. It's just because the stock I got and what I listed was in that category. So I think anything that's seen a decrease seems to be because I haven't listed anything new in that category. But yeah, what all this analysis is showing me is that my focus in health and beauty is paying off. So I should keep on doing that. I've made some really good profits in it. Per item, I probably make slightly more profit in books than I do in health and beauty. A lot of the books I pick up, I'm quite often the only seller on eBay, and I can command a higher price as a result, and I'm paying like 50p, £1, £2 for these books at most. Whereas the health and beauty, I'm generally paying a bit more for items in that and selling them for a bit less, so the margin isn't quite as good, but the sell-through rate, as you can see, is excellent. So definitely an area that I'm going to focus on in the future. I've no particular concerns about any of the other categories. So the only one that slightly concerns me is that the book sales have dropped off, but I think that's because I listed less books. I think if I listed more books this month, which there's no guarantee I will do because it depends on what I source and what I pull out of the backlog to list, but I think if I did list more, that would increase. So I'm not overly worried about it at the minute. What I am more worried about is that during this month of June, I've already had several days away from listing because of work and personal trips, and I've got more work trips scheduled for this month, which will take me away from listing. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to continue seeing an increase in June. So far, touch wood, the first few days of June have been excellent for me in terms of sales, but I think a lot of that is just the momentum of items that I previously listed carrying through into the month of June, and also correcting some of those listings that had collection only on rather than free postage. I have got a week off next week, but that week is primarily going to be focused on sending in shipments to Amazon and clearing some of my Amazon backlog of stock that's building up. I just want to get that stuff out of storage and sent in, because I am running out of space to store listed stock for eBay at the minute. I have got over 3,000 active listings currently, and that does take up a bit of room, as you can imagine. So I'm not sure how much listing I'm going to be able to do for eBay next week until I've cleared a bit more shelf space, but we shall see. I would like to list more items this month, but I don't know if it's going to be achievable. Anyway, we will switch to future Andrew for the wrap up. So I will temporarily pause the recording here. Thank you, future Andrew. It is future Andrew here. So yeah, interesting month. Good to see that the business was still growing in terms of turnover, and that is a trend I would like to see continue through the rest of this quarter and into the next 2 quarters. Are we in Q? We're not in Q3 yet, are we? I don't know. Anyway, in work I work in different quarters. I work in financial quarters. We're in April to April, so having to do retail quarters that run, you know, like the calendar sometimes is confusing for me. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to continue, as I say, focusing on health and beauty, because that does seem to be a real area of growth for me. Whether it will show growth this month, I don't know, because it depends on what I pick up. That's always the slight danger with this current model I'm following. I am relying on retail stores a lot for health and beauty, and reliant on them wanting to clear stock at a cheap price that I can then resell for a higher value on eBay. So it's not always possible to source stock, which is why with the, you know, there will still be a continued focus on other categories. Books is a category that I can regularly source and pick up stock in, varying different levels of quality and price, but I will still keep on sourcing in that. But I do want to identify opportunities to build the health and beauty, and I think one of the things that I want to focus on in regards to that over the next few weeks and months is also to identify online sources of health and beauty products that I can replenish, and you know, have big quantities of on eBay and sell regularly. But that is a, you know, a hard challenge to try and find stock of that nature, but not an impossible one. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway, I have taken up enough of your time. If you made it this far in the video, comment radish down below. I like to see random words, because it just, you know, gives a bit of fun to it. So comment radish if you've made it this far in the video, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't as well, because it'd be great to see the number of likes and subscribers going up and increasing. Bye for now. See you on the next video.